Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. It seems we have a revolt on our hands. The Mortal Kombat community has had enough of MK1 apparently. I went onto Twitter yesterday and saw tweet after tweet of people saying they're going back to Mortal Kombat 11. Now based on Steam numbers, and these pictures were taken today, I was under the impression that the few people that still play Mortal Kombat 1 were slowly transitioning back to MK11 anyway. I did check the numbers in the morning and just now. These ones are from just now and they're pretty close in player count, but in the morning MK11 had MK1 beat by almost 400 players. So I'm going to read out a series of tweets here for you guys just so you can get an understanding of what's going on, and then we will go from there and I'll share my thoughts on what I think is going on and why I think this might not be for the best. Stacy says, oh my god, not my entire timeline playing Mortal Kombat 11 after complaining about it for the last 5 years. Vanity says, do y'all really want a throwback MK11 tournament? Tekken Master says, MK11 was an amazing game, like it or not. If only there was enough support for the game and continued updates. I don't think you guys will think that way. Shinny says, thanks to everyone that stopped by the stream. I'm starting to remember why I was so toxic back in MK11, and then that cuts off there. That's why they screenshot it. You've also got people like Blaze saying MK11 was a better game in general, just because it was a more complete game from the beginning. I don't know how true that is. There was a lot of problems with MK11 to begin with, but I don't think they were as bad as MK1. You got Sikander here pushing back on this, saying you motherfuckers are so bored waiting for Chaos Reigns that you're gonna sit here asking about MK11 versus MK1 like we haven't already been over that. Engagement farming incels on this app, man. You'll forget MK11 exists when Chaos Reign drops. You're spineless. I think Sikander has well and truly embodied Bihan's personality. Baylina says, no matter how much I don't enjoy MK1, nothing will ever make me go back on MK11. I'd rather play Injustice 2 before I return to MK11, and that says a lot. Ketchup saying, people are talking about going back to MK11 on here like there's been literally anything stopping them from doing so. The game is still there, go play it if you want. Be thankful you can still play your favorite Mortal Kombat game easily. Austin saying, MK11 vs MK1 discourse on my timeline, again I'm tired. Watashi Nova saying, y'all going back to MK11 for real. Mr. Aqua saying, the urge to boot up MK11 just to mid-command grab people back to MK1. STG booting up and going back into Combat League. Hero saying, when I miss MK11, I really just miss him. Saki Sakura saying, you will never catch me on MK11 again. If MK11 has 1000 haters, I'm one of them. If MK11 has 100 haters, I'm one of them. If MK11 has 10 haters, I'm one of them. If MK11 has 1 hater, I am them. If MK11 has no haters, it doesn't exist because I killed it. That is some strong hate for MK11. You've got Sour Patch Katana saying, I want to proudly announce we're going back to Mortal Kombat 11, a game where you fight your opponent one-on-one and you can solidify your identity with gear and ults. And then finally you've got Lotzi Girl here saying, whole timeline going back to MK11, nah, choose MKX instead of that. And there's more tweets and it goes on and on and on, but you guys get the idea. Now let's discuss this whole situation in its entirety, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on why I don't think this is a good idea. So why are players looking to the past and returning to Mortal Kombat 11? Well, in my opinion, there's a number of reasons, but the very first thing I'd like to cover is something that Lotzi Girl brought up. Why is it Mortal Kombat 11? Why not Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 10? I'll give you a few reasons why. Just to start off with, I don't think Mortal Kombat 9 is that functional online, even though I think it's a better game overall. I don't think it's that functional online, so maybe that's not a viable option, but why not 10? Well, MK11 and MK1 are firmly the NRS style of Mortal Kombat games. They're slower, they're more controlled, less character creativity, less options. MK9 and MKX still carry over the midway swagger. MK9 in its aesthetic and gameplay, and MKX less so in the aesthetic but more so in its crazy gameplay. Both games are pretty insane and both games require high execution. Also, as I said, I don't know how playable MK9 actually is online, and I think MK9 was actually removed from the stores, so I don't even think you can access it unless you have the physical copy. Now, no shade on the MK11 and MK1 players, but MK9 and MKX are a different breed of game that require you to lock in a lot more than the recent iterations. They're clearly better fighting games, but they require a lot more work. MKX, in my opinion, is the best 2D Mortal Kombat game for how fast, impactful and creative you could be with it. So if we just look at MK11 and why people might want to revert back to it despite the years of dumping people took on it, one of the main reasons is people are starved for a 1v1 mode, and that is one of MK1's biggest criticisms. Nobody asked for cameos, people wanted a tag partner, and NRS failed to deliver on that. A 1v1 mode may be the most requested mode for Mortal Kombat 1, but I don't think it will ever be implemented implemented, and if it was, they'd need to totally rebalance some of the characters in it so they don't rely on a cameo to cover their weak spots, and if they do that, then when people play with the cameos, those characters are going to be way too powerful. So MK11 could scratch that itch that the cameo has left. Another reason is that as far as I can remember, MK11 was not nearly as glitchy as MK1. Nowhere near actually, so you're not having to deal with weird glitches constantly disrupting the matches. In a competitive fighting game, that is a big deal. Now outside of that, I guess you could say MK11 is a more complete package as a whole. Granted, it has been in the oven for much longer, and originally it was nowhere near the state that it's actually in right now, and also MK1 is just about to complete its first year. I don't think that applies to these players because they're going to be playing online, they're going to be competing against each other. So the overall package, I don't know how much that applies to them. In terms of gameplay, I personally think MK1 is a better game than MK11, even with the ridiculous glitches, the stupid cameos, and the abundance of guest characters that nobody asked for. Because MK11, to be fair, had better guest characters. MK11 was such a painful experience, made even worse by its gimmicky mechanics, which is really saying something since Mortal Kombat is kind of known for just being a gimmicky fighting game, that you have to point out how gimmicky the mechanics were in this game, with the worst offender being the breakaway system. The breakaway mechanic is one of the most shambolic mechanics I have ever seen in my life. If you use the breakaway mechanic at the right time, which is a substitute for the breaker system which they have now brought back, you can get up and punish your opponent. Let me repeat that for you. If I hit you with a combo and you decide to use breakaway, you can get up and punish me. You can punish your punisher for punishing you successfully. Do you have any idea how absurd that is? That alone should be enough to keep anyone away from that game. On top of that, the crushing blow mechanic is one of the most brain dead and poorly balanced mechanics in the history of the franchise, let alone fighting games. Firstly, crushing blows are not a counter hit system by default. A lot of people like to say that they're not. You had specific ones that would act as a counter hit, but majority of them had specific requirements that you needed to fill. These requirements were not fairly distributed against the roster, which made some characters much weaker than others because they had a much harder time accessing that massive damage. Why make my life super difficult when I could just pick Garrus and just basically chain crushing blows into each other? Oh, and good luck moving forward against Garrus. You'll have sand in your feet the entire game. Oh, did I mention that crushing blows were also implemented in the throw mechanic? Mortal Kombat's throw system is already awful. Truly, one of the most awful systems. A complete guess with no visual indicators, but then add on the fact that if you guess wrong twice in MK11, you eat a crushing blow that does 30% off of a throw that you have to guess for. On a scale of 1 to dumb, this is moronic on a biblical scale. I know people don't like down ones in Mortal Kombat 1, but please go and reacquaint yourself with the MK11 variant. You'll be pulling your hair out, the little hair that you have left from playing Mortal Kombat 1 for this long. Down 1s and down 3s and down 4s in Mortal Kombat 11 are terrible. They are astronomically worse than MK1. You literally find yourself stuck in place for way longer than you should be. If you don't believe me, you literally can just go on Twitter and you can see this happening for yourself. MK11 as a fighting game is the least enjoyable 2D Mortal Kombat game, and that includes the old digital ones, and I mean that. I have the Mortal Kombat 2 arcade cabinet which has all of the digital Mortal Kombat games on it. They are much more fun to play than MK11. I understand that you guys are all sick of Mortal Kombat 1 and I get it. It has been one L after the other, but guys, please don't let your memories betray you. MK11 is a worse fighting game than MK1, and I cannot believe I'm even saying that. MK11 is a worse fighting game than MK1, and I can argue that it's not even close. You're literally walking out of one side of hell straight into another. You're not ascending to better times. You're not absolving yourself of suffering. You're jumping from one boiling cauldron into the other. Let me give you some advice. If you can't wait for Chaos Reigns and you're actually done, don't return to MK11. Return to Monkey. Buy Black Myth Wukong and just relax. I'll do you one better. If you use my affiliate code and you go to Instinct Gaming, the affiliate code is in the description below. You just type in Black Myth Wukong into the search bar and it will come up 15% off. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to. It's on the main page because it's that awesome. You can get it for £42.90 on the PC. Don't suffer with Mortal Kombat games. Get yourself Black Myth Wukong. Use my affiliate code. It is in the description below. Trust me when I say it is a good time. You will absolutely love it, and if you don't love it, you need to get cultured. As I said, it's in the description below. Now you know the scene is in a bad state when people want to go back to Mortal Kombat 11. 11 of all games. That game was so bad. I will never erase it from my memory. That is what suffering looks like. If dogshit had a poster child, it would be Mortal Kombat 11. Please, my friends, don't do this to yourself. Even if you hate me, even if you can't stand my voice, even if you hate my videos, heed my warning. Do not go back to MK11. You're only going to upset yourself, and then you're going to jump back into the other inferno, which is MK1. It is a lose-lose situation. In my opinion, you should all jump into training mode. If you need to play a Mortal Kombat game, try out the new Ultimate Mortal Kombat Deception that a person called Ermac created. You can find it on their YouTube channel. Or if you want to play a 2D Mortal Kombat game that still has a functioning online, play Mortal Kombat 10. Put down that revolver, unload it. It doesn't have to be this way, guys. You don't have to suffer like this. Trust me when I say, don't do this to yourselves. Now, I know I'm a bit late because when I went on Steam, MK11 is still kicking MK1's ass. There's more people playing that game. But guys, I'm telling you, I know you've got shit right now. Just stick with the shit you got, because the shit from back then is going to cook you. And I'll be right here making a video of all the people tweeting out saying, yeah, we made a mistake. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you very soon. Take care and peace.